slide is over, the speaker is going to leave. When there is no PPT, it is totally at the speaker's mercy. In our directorate, we have taken up certain programs for this last mile service. We have taken up certain initiatives for farm mechanization, for pump set tracking, for funds management, etc. After dealing with such projects, in almost all our projects, NIC is our partner, and NIC is a very good partner. And with the help of NIC, we even bagged a National eGovernance Award last year. Thank you. I would like just to observe certain difficulties, what we have encountered and what we have overcome, and what everybody who tries to do this last mile service will face and will have to overcome. The first difficulty is that the problems, the triple problems of connectivity, accessibility and versatility. Not all parts of the state are equally connected. They are not well connected. Not all the parts are connected even by mobile network. That is the main trouble. As of now, almost all the blocks have been connected with the broadband. But it will take a lot more time to connect all these 6,200 panchayats. So, whosoever is going to design a program, a last mile service program, whether it is a system or a software, they have to keep these things in mind. And the second trouble is accessibility. Even if the connectivity is there, the accessibility, whether the program or the system, whether the interface is accessible to the citizen, whether at his home in a broadband connection, or whether at a service center, common service center, or whether it is available at the mobile. The citizen has to be able, he or she must be able to access it. And that includes what Mr. S.K. Panda has pointed out, that most of our citizens are not fluent or not conversant with English. So whenever we are designing a system, there must be automatically provisions. Whenever we are directly dealing with the citizen, there must be provision for ODI. If we are dealing only with an intermediate level, G to G, government to government, district headquarters to state headquarters, or even block headquarters to state headquarters, we can design the entire thing in English, which is far more easier for the designing purposes. But then once you are dealing with the farmers, with the citizens directly, you must have the interface in ODI. And as of today, that is an obstacle. Because even the ODI Unicode is not yet very popular. So that we are still dependent on certain private softwares, this Akruti and all, and I don't know how far we are going to be dependent on them, how long. And third problem is that of versatility. In the past few years, the mobile phones have totally switched over to another platform. Time was when you have the server also in Windows and the desktop also in Windows, and even laptops are in Windows. Now the entire mobile phone, half the platform has switched over to Android. Now whenever we are designing a citizen interface, we have to design two. One for working the desktop and one for working in the laptop or tablet or mobiles. And that is adding to the complications. These are only the technical snacks. Designing a software, a citizen-friendly software, is very difficult because of the approach that both the Government of India and Government of Odisha, and practically every government has taken in the past 20 years, what Mr. S.K. Panda has referred as workflow model. Simply put, workflow model is simply computerizing the existing flowchart. You see, we are very good at breaking the Sarkar work into components and then assigning them to different dealing hands. To junior assistant, to senior assistant, to junior clerk, to senior clerk, to cashier, everybody, head clerk, everybody will have a small slice of work. It will be like an assembly line in paper. In the first 20 years, our approach was simply to convert this paper assembly line to computer assembly line. That has miserably failed. Most of the initial day softwares are not working because we have to update the system also. That in the transaction-based software, you do away with the manual thing and you ask the employee to use the computer software to issue a permit, to receive a report or whatever. And that transaction model, I am happy that it is catching on. But yet, most of the softwares, even today, designed in government, follow the workflow model, and it is up to the officers who are in charge of computerization. They have to study the existing manual model carefully, and then to re-engineer those models to suit the transaction-based software, the transaction-based design. And that is one thing we must do, missing which the computerization will be a failure. And even if we computerize also, we have this compulsion of audit. For the sake of audit, we must have a paper trail somewhere. So that is why every day somewhere in some of my offices, even after 100% computerization, one poor man is taking out a printout and then he is filing it. Why? Because someday somebody from the audit office will turn up and ask him what is happening. So this paper trail, it won't go very well with information superhighway. On the one hand, you want 10 Mbps network. On the other hand, you say that every page should be taken a printout and kept in safe custody for the next 10 years, because you never know when the audit will turn up. Those compulsions, those requirements are going to be a big stumbling block if we are going to have a 100% computerization, whether at the block level or at the tehsil level or at the district level. And finally, the concerns of the citizens. Citizens have concerns. So far, in all our computerizations, we didn't have much to worry about, because citizens' views were not very important. But now with Aadhaar, with finance transactions, while you are tracking a criminal, it is verified. What if an innocent man is tracked? Under our common law, a citizen is presumed innocent unless he is proved guilty. What if a citizen has a right to anonymity and privacy as long as he is not breaking any law? It will be against a citizen's privacy to ask him, to demand him to disclose his identity everywhere for a common transaction, for a simple legal transaction. That will be a challenge. And secondly, what about the data security? Now the data of all the citizens are in our hands. We have to provide adequate security, not only against hacking, but also against insider trading. Now and then we read in the papers about how some employee of a call center sold the data of some clients of a foreign company. We must take adequate precautions that it should not get repeated in our government sector. And that will be a very big concern. No citizen would like to see his entire transactions or data slip into a private hand, slip into the hands of an advertising company. And that is a very big concern. That also we must give attention to. And thirdly, as the technology develops, the mobility gets restricted. Time was when most of us used to change a mobile phone every year, because one, the cost was less. Two, it doesn't matter, you simply take the SIM card out and then put it here. Now every time somebody changes, I asked the gentleman, why you have not changed your mobile in 3 years? He said that who is going to copy all the numbers and shift them to that other? Everywhere we are now asking people to register a device. What happens when that device has to change? Also we must keep in mind, whenever we are designing a computerization for last mile, the mobility, the ability to change the upgrade the system without having go back to the design table, that must be taken into account. All said and done, it is a difficult experience, but it is an experience well worth having, because it is the last mile that leads to the lasting smile. Thank you.